Thanks for taking a few minutes and watching this short video on pricing. And so guys and gals, there's 3 points I want to share with you on how to be good at pricing. And the first one is this: motivation over price. Now, when I teach this in a seminar format, motivation over price, everybody agrees, yes, motivation over price. Then I say to the group, well, why do you push the price so hard at the listing presentation then? Because you're at a listing presentation and they want to try it high, and you're pushing for the right price. You might agree mentally, motivation over price, but you're operating price over motivation. So guys and gals, you're on a listing presentation and they have to sell. I'm not suggesting you shouldn't try to get the right price. I'm going to show you how to do that. But you can't push so hard that you push yourself out of the equation. If they want to sell and they're motivated to move, you have to, yes, try to get the right price. But you can't over push and push yourself out of the equation. Otherwise, you're agreeing motivation over price, but you're operating price over motivation. Okay, second point is this. The ABCD technique is the perfect amount of dialogue. I'll of course demonstrate it in a second. So you're at a listing presentation and they are motivated to move and they want to try it a bit high. There's nothing uncommon about that. That's very, 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 very common. And so you're sitting there with them thinking to yourself, okay, so they're motivated to move. So motivation over price. So I'm going to try to get a price right. But if I can't, I'm going to take it. Motivation over price. So as they say, maybe it should be $6.99 and they say, you know, we'd like to just try $7.50. So the ABCD technique sounds like this. You're making the point that the A buyer is amazing, the B buyer is good, the C buyer is not so good, and the D buyer is bad. And the whole thing will sound like this. So you're at a listing presentation and the seller says, I can see that they're selling $700. We want to try $750 or $800. Then you say, okay, so you're looking to put it on the market at $800, is that correct? And they go, yes. Okay. I know that when you're moving, you're trying to get as much as you can. Of course you are. I'm not moving right now myself, but if I was, equally, I would want to get as much as I can. I have no issue with that. The truth is, guys and gals, the $800,000 price is not correct, but the motivation for trying to do as well as they can for themselves, that is correct. So it's okay. You're not validating the price. You're validating the fact that these people work hard for their money and they try to keep it. That's okay. You'll be doing the same thing. Then you say, do you mind if I share something with you? And they go, what's that? See, that's repeat, approve, build a bridge. That's not the ABCD technique. Repeat, approve, build a bridge is demonstrated on the objection handling video. Go watch that one. And so the ABCD technique sounds like this. In every marketplace, a grade A buyer comes in and they're amazing. They pay the right price, they close on the right date, and they don't ask for your stuff. They're perfect. Behind them comes the B buyer. They pay the right price, they close on the right date, but maybe it costs us some appliances. It's very common. And then the grade C buyer, not so good. The dates don't line up, money's not as good. And then the D buyer, which is your shrewd investor, the person that you don't want. And then just ask them a question. So if you had a choice, would you prefer to negotiate with the A buyer or the D buyer? Now they're going to say, well, the A buyer, of course. Now that is a very rhetorical question that you ask them. So you have to say, once they say the A buyer, of course, you say, I'm sorry for asking such a rhetorical question. Of course you'd want the A buyer. And so they're selling at $700,000. There's an active at $709. We're going to be $800,000. So what price would we have to be so the next grade A buyer would take your property over this $709? Now they're going to say probably $709. You see, the thing is, at the table, guys and gals, the ABC explanation, the ABC technique, is the exact amount of dialogue that isn't too easy, but you're not pushing yourself out of the equation. So just deliver it. Now, let me tell you something. It only works 50% of the time. So half the time, when you deliver that, they're going to say, you know what? I think you're right. We should probably be closer to 700. It has a 50% success rate. The third piece of the puzzle is really cool. So if it doesn't work, 50%, then you just take an overpriced listing. After all, motivation over price. But see, the third point is this. 2 weeks later, in your weekly update, when you share this with them, you know, I mentioned to you last week that new property came on the market. It's now sold. And then you get to say this, guys and gals. So the ABCD technique is 50% at the listing presentation, but it's almost 100% 2 to 3 weeks later. So the truth is, as a listing realtor, motivation over price, whether they list it correctly at the listing table or 2 weeks later, I don't think that matters that much. So if you know the technique is 50-50 at the listing presentation and almost 100% 2 weeks later, just deliver it at the listing presentation. If it works, fantastic. If it doesn't, take the listing. Motivation over price. Then 2 weeks later, it sounds like this. As you give them an update saying, okay, so The one that came on the market last week, that's now sold. I don't know the price yet. It's sold conditional. And the one that was on the comparative market analysis we did, it's sold plus that other one. So do you remember when we put the home on the market? Don't say when we listed. The word listing is our term. Do you remember when we put the home on the market, I had explained to you how the ABCD buyers work. Guys and gals, don't say, do you remember the ABCD technique? Don't say that. That's me talking to you. You say to them, do you remember how the ABCD buyers work? And they go, yes, I remember that. And then you can say, notice it just happened. They're always a bit disappointed. And then you get to say this. Would you like some good news? And they go, what's that? It happens every 2 weeks. Do you want to get involved this next 2 weeks? They say yes 90 to 95% of the time. So when you're at a listing and they want to try it high, remember, motivation over price. Don't push the price so hard that you push yourself out of the equation. That's a big mistake that realtors make. Motivation over price. Just repeat, approve, build the bridge. Watch the objection handling video and you'll know more about that. And then use the ABCD technique. It's 50-50 at the listing. If it doesn't work, 2 weeks later when you point out that 3 out of 4 have just bought, then point out that the ABCD buyers have just did what I said they would do, and they're always a little disappointed because like, so we just missed it. Yes, would you like some good news? They go, what's that? It happens every 2 weeks. You want to get involved? Yes, 95% of the time. So the ABCD technique is perfect when you're sitting with motivated people that want to try it higher. So guys and gals, use that technique. It'll help you out. Have an awesome day.